Okay, guys, so we're live. All right, let me cook. All right, guys, so we're back. This is the first ever stream I've ever done. First live stream. I'm just gonna chill out. Like I said in the description, I'm gonna chill out, talk some sports, business, politics, economics, whatever's in the news at the moment. Um, yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna chill out. We're gonna see where the news takes us. I don't plan on being in for too long. We get some music going. Let's just chill out. Let's talk. You probably hear my fan going in the background. You just have to deal with that, unfortunately. Yeah, you just have to deal with that, unfortunately, because I'm not turning that off and just be sitting here sweating. That's what I'm not gonna do. But that's not a problem. You can hear me? I'm assuming. Mic connected. Mic connected. All right, guys. So we're back. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we're cool. We are cool. Okay, so what's this about why Mainu has the wow factor and how he could be one of the greats? You know, choosing the right moment. Let's talk about Mainu for England quickly. Honestly, what Mainu is doing, he's doing some great work at the moment. There's no denying that. But honestly, a lot of the stuff he's doing, I think Declan Rice should have been doing. You know, it shouldn't be on, Mainu to come in at however old he is, or 18. I don't know how old he is. Yeah, it shouldn't be on him to come in at however old he is and basically do Declan Rice's job. I'm a Declan Rice fan, particularly once he joined Arsenal, because I am an Arsenal fan. I remember when we signed him, I'm thinking 100 mil for this guy. Like, is he even that much better than Xhaka? I'm like, 100 mil. And he needs to be like a huge upgrade on Xhaka for 100 mil. But he's hit the ground running and he's been tremendous for Arsenal. And I was hoping to see the Declan Rice for Arsenal that we see. The Declan Rice for Arsenal that we see is what I wanted to see from Declan Rice at England, if that makes sense. Unfortunately, it's not really been the case so far. We've had to have someone alongside him. It's clear that Southgate's asked him to sit, which is fine. I guess tactically. It's worked so far. The games have been really boring apart from the last game against the Netherlands, but we've got to the final. So we can't complain too much about that. But mainly as a wow factor, I didn't watch too much of him at United because I'm an Arsenal fan. I don't watch too many United games. But, I hear a lot of the hype around him, and then I see him play for England and I'm like, this kid, he's got a lot of raw talent. You don't see that a lot nowadays, and I'll tell you why I don't see that a lot nowadays, because I don't know if Kobe Manu might be the same as these other players and just be in academies from like the age of 8. You're in academies from like 8 and they're all teaching you the same way to play. You're all just going to be system players, which is why I think, we see such little creativity in terms of the attacking players nowadays, where all the best wingers in the world are just, drive and cross it in, or drive, stop, cut it in, and there's no flair. There's nothing about them, there's no Neymars, there's no Ronaldinhos, there's no Messis, even Ronaldo. Early days Ronaldo at United when he was playing on the wing, crazy tech, crazy skill. But Mainu's sort of built, I'm not going to say he's as good as those guys, I'm definitely never going to say that, because he's too young. But he's got that rawness about them where he sees a pass, he wants to hit it. He's not looking for the safe option, and when you've got a midfielder next to him like Declan Rice, who pretty much this whole tournament has always just gone with the safe option, you need someone alongside him that can break the lines, that can penetrate, that can put that needle threading pass in. And Mainu's been great for England, so far. I like a midfield three of Bellingham, Rice, and Mainu. I do. That's a really promising midfield three for me. But yeah, Mainu, Rio Ferdinand, since Mainu has the wow factor, and could he be one of the greats? Let's see, man. Let's see. He's a player, like I said, with rawness. The physicality hasn't been a problem so far. He's young, but don't let that fool you. He's a young player who's been able to come in and not really get bullied off the ball. He's able to hold his own, and that's the first step. you're a young player coming into a position like midfield in particular as well, where a lot of the battle is fought in midfield. Games are won and lost in midfield, But Kobe's managed to come in, and he's done great. Could he be one of the greats for England? Who knows? Who knows? It's early doors, because we've seen players come and go over the years. Have great starts to their career, injuries, or they get in trouble outside of the pitch, or they lose focus, or a big deal, and then they stop working as hard. It happens. But Mainu is the sort of player we need if we're going to win the Euros. Mainu is the sort of player we need to be on top form, because if he's on top form, then that Spain midfield's going to have huge problems. Kobe Mainu, hey, he could be the key, because we've always had this whole tournament. We've had Rice in, we've had Bellingham in, we've had Foden in, but it seems once Mainu was in the squad, that really unlocked them to attacking. That really allowed them to stay further up the pitch, because you've got Mainu that can carry the ball and find them in those tough positions. Rice wasn't really doing that. Rice's role seemingly so far has been more defensive, and that's not to knock Rice, because he's done well, and England's defence has been okay for the most part. It's hard to criticise because we've got this far. It's not like we've been losing loads of games or getting battered. We managed to get to the finals. So let's see. Kobe Mainu could be the one to take England to the promised land, or he'll certainly be a factor in it. But let's see. Let's see with Kobe Mainu, man. Okay, what boxing? Oh yeah, I heard about this. Eubank Jr. signs with Boxer and targets Alvarez fight. Now, in my head, I thought Eubank Jr. was already with Boxer, but I'm wrong, because he was signed with Wasserman before, and they were on Sky Sports. Boxer is also on Sky Sports, which is probably what caused the confusion for me. I wonder, do we have figures here? Do we have any figures here? Because I'd be so interested to know how much they signed him for. It doesn't look like they've put any numbers in. Yeah. But Eubank Jr.'s one with an interesting career. He's he's had a few losses, some worse than others. Who did he lose to? He lost first to Billy Joe Saunders. Who else did he lost to? Let's get his record up. Okay, let's get his record up. Let's have a look. But Chris Eubank against Canelo Alvarez. I'm not going to get into it yet. Let's see. So Billy Joe Saunders' first loss. Oh, there we go. Then he lost to George Groves. Yep, that's it. George Groves. Then he lost to Liam Smith, and that was such a bad loss for him. That was awful. His biggest win is probably past his prime, James DeGale. That's really it. Honestly. That's probably his best win. And I guess the revenge fight against Liam Smith, but Liam Smith isn't anything crazy like that. He should have beaten Liam Smith the first time round, in my opinion. But yeah, biggest win, James DeGale. Who else? No, there's really no one here. Yeah, there's no one here. So, but to be honest, if he can get himself a Canelo fight with that sort of career, then all the what's the saying? More power to you, brother. But yeah, he signed with Boxer, and he's aiming for that Canelo Alvarez fight. I'm assuming it'd be at super middleweight. Obviously, Chris Eubank's a small super middleweight at the best of times. He's really a middleweight. He's a small super middleweight, and Canelo's a fighter who's fought, won, and knocked out guys at light heavyweight. Honestly, I think if these two were to fight, I really think Eubank Jr. just gets his arse handed to him, to be honest. And I think he should probably retire after that, because he'll be 33-4. You've had a decent career. You've not won. You've won like them bullshit WBA interim world titles. IBO. You are. Oh no, he lost that. Oh, he lost. He didn't even win that. He lost that fight. Jokes. But he was an IBO super middleweight champion. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he won that IBO super middleweight champion, and then won that again. So he's a world champion. You know, not the most respected of world champions, but he's a world champion nonetheless. He should retire after that, because I imagine, what would that be? He'd get a couple million for fighting Canelo. I'd imagine Canelo would walk away with 15, 20 million from that, depending on where it is, actually, because that would be a huge fight in the UK. They could probably do quite a big arena, because Canelo's a huge star, and Eubank Jr., you know, the lead up to that fight, I can imagine him doing, you know, a lot of antics to get get some excitement around it. I could see that doing some big numbers if it was over in the UK. I imagine it'll be in America though. I imagine it'll be in Vegas, but still, nonetheless, could be a big fight for both guys. I imagine, you know, like I said, if it's a super middleweight, it'd have to be. Okay, I don't see Canelo going down to middleweight at this point in his career. And Eubank Jr. will happily fight a super middleweight for this sort of cash, to be honest. I can see Eubank walking home with 2 or 3 million potentially. And then Canelo walking with 15, 20 million. And then, to be honest, with all the money Eubank earned over his career, plus this last 2 or 3 million, you know, he'd be alright. I mean, unless he gambles it all away on poker stars, which he seems to like doing. If he can, you know, carry on gambling on poker stars, then he might need to keep coming back. Because, you know, that 2 or 3 million won't last forever when you're betting, you know, 100 grand hands with Neymar and shit. But interesting, but not going to be a good night for Chris Eubank Jr. I really think he'd get his ass handed to him quite badly by Canelo, and it'd be a bad enough result to where he would want to retire, because that would be the nail in the coffin for him, to understanding that he's just never going to be that guy. You know, he's done. You know, he's never going to be that guy. He's not going to be the next Mayweather, like him and his dad were saying. You know, at one point, you know, early on in his career, when he was running through, you know, these bums, to be honest, which is what they were. Time Booth, 11 and that's awful. Look at these records, 8 and 5. You know, these records in boxing. If this was MMA, right? If this was MMA, then okay. You know, these are somewhat respectable records, but you fight bin men, you know. But this is pretty normal in boxing. I say that, but this is quite normal in boxing, you know. You fight these guys and then you keep just moving up a level until you find your level, until you know, face the Billy Joe Saunders and you lose. Then you go back to the drawing board, build it up again. Then you build your way back up to like another world title fight. George Groves, you lose again. Then build it up, and then this wasn't even a world title fight. Losing to Liam Smith, you know, that was bad. That was really bad. But you thought Liam Smith lost. You know, got the rematch. Luckily managed to win that time, but you know, yeah, he's really on the back end of his career. But to be honest, so is Canelo. But Canelo's, you know, still out here, he's still winning fights, still dominating the divisions, multi-weight world champion. And what I really like about Canelo is, you know, he's definitely he's one of the last of a dying breed. He's cut from a different cloth. You know, started his career at what, welterweight, junior welterweight. He won world titles at every weight division, moved all the way up to light heavyweight. You know, you don't get that often, you know, especially nowadays. You know, back in the day, it's probably a bit more common because you would see guys wanting to move up, you know, guys like Manny Pacquiao. But, you know, even Manny Pacquiao was one of a kind, but, you know, there we go. If that fight happens, easy night for Canelo, and he walks away, you know, 20 million quid richer. And Eubank gets his face beaten for a bit, and he walks away, you know, 2 or 3 million quid richer. Hey ho, we'll see. Okay, let's see what else we got for boxing. What else we got for boxing? Let's have a look. Slow internet, but let's have a look. Should we get some music going? What do you think? Get some music going? Let's see. Nah, but I'm not trying to get it copyrighted though. That's the problem. I'm not trying to get it copyrighted because you guys be bugging on YouTube, man. This is why I want to be streaming on like other platforms, but let's see. This is okay for now. You know what I'm saying? This is okay for now. Why is it taking so slow to load? It's ridiculous, man. I have to come off this website. Got internet connection. I've got Ethernet. There's no reason for it to be so slow, but hey ho. Let's see what else we got while that's loading. Let's see what's going on in the world of politics, man. I mean, in the UK, let's start in the UK. Let's see what the dude Keir Starmer's going on. What's he on? See this dude on the news talking about NHS and all that, but let's see, buddy. Let's see what you got, buddy. Why is it so slow? It's the problem, man. This is the problem why I can't live stream, bro. Come on. But this is why I need the music going, bro. Know what I'm saying? This is why I need the music going, brother. We go here, nah, nothing really too crazy. Talks about Manu for a bit, talks about Eubank. Oh man. Let's see if I need to close some of these off. Boo. Nah, I mean, one thing I was thinking about last night was I went out and got a bit faded, but you know the song Kid Cudi, the Kid Cudi song Day and Night. You know, the more I go about in life, you know, I just think this dude must have been talking about me. Okay, here we go. What should we go on to? What we got? Collapsing prisons. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm seeing this that they want to reduce people's like serve time. So in the UK, for those who don't know, they try and do like if you serve 50% of your sentence and you know you're good in prison, you can be let out for good behaviour. They want to reduce that to 40%. I'd be interested to know what you guys think about that. Could potentially be a double-edged sword, but ultimately we don't want people locked up. You know, that's not what we're for. We want people to be free and free to live their lives. But if you're hurting people, if you're breaking the laws, then there's, you know, what can we do? But it looks like Keir Starmer. Oh my days, this is so slow. What is going on? What on earth is going on? Let me check the connection, bro. It's all connected. I've got the Ethernet, so there's really no excuse for it to be so slow. But yeah, like I was saying, yeah, they want to release thousands of people. They're saying it's due to overcrowding, which, you know, doesn't surprise me. You know, we're a small island. The UK is a small island. I think people forget how small the United Kingdom is. People forget how small the United Kingdom is. But yeah, Keir Starmer, he looks like he wants to, you know, let people out of prison. 40% of their sentence, if they're served, got good behaviour, they can come out. But what does that mean for those people? You know, what is the aftercare like for those people who have come out of that prison? High memory usage detected. Well, I'd fucking imagine, hope so. Let's close that down. Well, what am I supposed to do? I've literally got nothing open apart from the internet, so I don't know what you're on, bro. But hide. Whatever. But yeah, I think it's important for us to consider, you know, what happens to these people once they're out. Have they got jobs? No. Are they going to... You know, what are they going to do with their lives? You know, okay, we've taken them out of prison, now what? Have they got somewhere to live? No, so they're contributing to the homeless problem. Okay, have they got a job? No, so they're contributing to unemployment, you know. You know, it's great, you know, thinking that you've got... It's great solving one problem, but if one problem creates more problems, then you have to manage that risk. You know, if you take people out of prison, they need somewhere to live and they need jobs. You know, that's really... They need someone to live and they need jobs. Can you give them that? The answer is no. They'll say the answer is yes, because that's what politicians do. But the answer is no. Emergency plans to tackle collapsing prisons. Unforgivable prison overcrowding crisis. Worse than we thought. Suella Braverman blasts Labour's early release prison plan. Well, this is the thing, you know, Suella Braverman, she probably thinks it's a discipline issue. But it's not really a discipline issue, it's a logistics and building issue. Realistically. Because Keir Starmer seems like the sort of bloke that would happily have people rotting in prison if he could. But it looks like the prisons are in terrible shape, so they have to, sort them out or build new ones, which, whatever. They should, but I don't know if they should. I've never been to prison. They should build more houses. That's what they should do, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, but the only way for this to work, in my opinion, long term, is that you need to have a mass. You need to have a mass, like mass review of laws, because there's a lot of stuff that's illegal that shouldn't be illegal. And I'm gonna sound like a broken record here for those who know me, but for those of you who don't, I'm gonna sound like a broken record here. But there is no reason in the UK why, weed isn't legal. No reason at all. But there are people in there serving years and years in prison for it. No reason on God's green earth why weed should be illegal in the UK. But let's see. They want to let people out of prison early. Keir Starmer is one of his first orders of business. In addition to Keir Starmer also, meeting with Ukraine and backing them. They want to give them more money, more weapons. Really, you should be working towards ending the war, not funding it. Hear that, Keir Starmer? Ending the war, not funding it. But it's easier said than done, I suppose. Easier said than done. Apparently. But yeah, what do you guys think of this? Keir Starmer going to be letting people out of prison early. What does that mean for them? You're going to have people who will certainly be reoffending. Let's be honest. There's no way around it. People that come out of prison, a lot of those people are going to not have the opportunities that a normal person would. And it's going to result in them, probably reoffending. Think of it. Say you're a 25-year-old guy coming out of prison. You've just served, 2 or 3 years in prison for a drug charge, whatever. You come out, the only jobs you can get are these bad, bummy. I don't say bummy, but, dudes like this aren't going to want to work these bad jobs. And that's what they're going to be getting. It's going to be, stuff like this, warehouse operative, like I said, warehouse operative, what else? Supermarket work, maybe a bit of labour work, You can either do that for not much money, get taxed, or you can do a bit more, you can do a bit of trapping, cash in hand, don't work for no one, start when you want, finish when you want, and do that. And even if you make a bit less money, the advantage is to them, they're like, okay, well, I might make a bit less money, but I get to work when I want, no one chats shit to me. But this is, honestly guys, this is how guys are going to be thinking. So let's see how this works with Keir Starmer letting people out of prison early. I hope it works. I hope those people who come out of prison early are able to, turn their lives around, get a good job, work their way up, get on the housing ladder. But there's people who have been saving for years and years and years, who've done everything by the book, and they're nowhere near being able to get on the housing ladder. But maybe that's a conversation for another time. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think of Keir Starmer letting guys out of prison early. I'm interested to know what you think. Honestly, yeah, because double-edged sword in my opinion. It's a double-edged sword. But let's see how it goes. I think that's mostly what's been going on in UK politics. Not a great deal else. Not a great deal else. Biden backs Starmer's bid to renegotiate Brexit and bring the UK back to the EU. Hey man, Biden needs to, sort himself out. Biden needs to worry about, fixing whatever he's got going on up here in his head, you feel me? But what do I think of Brexit? It looks like we've had all the negatives of Brexit with none of the positives. I won't get into, the whole Brexit bus and all that, but really, a campaign built on lies. You spend a lot of this time, and I'm not talking about the Remain side, of course. I was talking about the Leave side mostly. You built a campaign based off lies and stuff that wasn't true, and that stuff influences votes. I don't know. I don't think the vote should be valid. Yes, I know we're a democratic nation, but if the people aren't informed, then how can they make an informed decision? I don't know. I don't know how can they make an informed decision if they're not correctly informed. But I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know why Biden would want that, to be honest, because I would imagine the UK being more disconnected from the EU would mean we'd be kind of forced to trade with America a bit more, which you would think Biden would want because it'd mean more trade for his country. You know, just thinking logically. But if Biden wants to back Keir Starmer and getting back into the EU, I don't think we'll get back to the EU. We probably should. I think obviously people talk about the immigration, but the immigration's been bad anyway. You know, Brexit hasn't stopped the immigration. Well, like I said, we've had all the negatives of Brexit and none of the positives. None of the positives. We haven't been able to set our own anything because we only just recently left the Supreme Human Rights Court or some rubbish like that. You know, these guys, they're clowns. You know, but particularly 81-year-old president. What's going on, man? 81. How are you the president, bro? Crazy. But it's interesting to me. I'm interested that Biden said that he would be, you know, willing to back that. Because like I said, I would think that us being out of the EU would encourage more trade with America, which is what they would want, I would think. But hey ho. Yeah, but like I said, I don't know if they want us to completely join back. Yeah, completely join back with the EU. It's still going to be a Brexit, but they want to bring us closer to the EU. Interesting. It's definitely interesting, and we'll see what goes on with that, but it's probably early doors for that, you know. It's probably early doors for that. Okay, who we got here for boxing? What have we got here for boxing? Okay. The impact. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the Saudis, bro. Yeah, I mean, Arabian fights, the impact of Saudi boxing takeover. What have you guys thought about the Saudis getting involved in boxing? You know, I think naturally, in terms of seeing the best fights, you know, we get to see that now. But it's sad that it's kind of taken a guy from Saudi Arabia he does not care if he makes money from boxing or not. It makes no impact to him because he'll throw 100 million at an event. If he makes 20 million back from it, he's cool. Like, he's got billions he's sitting on, probably trillions. To be honest, I don't think we fully understand the wealth in Saudi Arabia because I don't think a lot of it they have to even declare. So if you don't have to declare it, I'm not going to go around telling people how much I make, how much I earn, how much money I have. I'm not doing that. No chance. So everyone thinks these guys are billionaires. In reality, I can see these guys being, you know, multi-decker billionaires, pushing trillionaires in combined wealth, potentially. So these guys have come into the boxing sport and they've thrown money around because these guys want to see the best fights. These guys, they're fans at heart. There's no denying these guys are fans at heart. They've come in, record purses. They've come in, dropped crazy bags on these guys. Yeah, Fury's making 78 million against Usyk. It's crazy. It's crazy because of course, it's a big fight. Of course, it's a big fight, but it's not a 78 million quid purse for Fury big. You know, there's no chance. But they've come in and they've made these big fights. You know, Fury and Usyk, they've made it. We've now got a unified heavyweight champion in Usyk. They want to do the same at light heavyweight with Beterbiev and Bivol. I think that fight got delayed because of injuries, but that's what it takes. It takes an ungodly amount of money to make these huge unification fights. Because I don't know, Eddie Hearn's never paying Tyson Fury 78 million. Frank Warren's never paying Tyson Fury 78 million for one fight. It's never happening. You know. Same with Joshua. You know, Eddie Hearn's never paying Joshua 40 million to fight Francis Ngannou. That's insane. That is truly insane. But that being said, yeah, like I said, guys, I'd be so interested to know what you guys think of the Saudi takeover of boxing. Do you think it's good for the sport? It's more money in the guys' pockets. There's more money in the guys' pockets. We're seeing the dream fights. You know, from a fan's perspective, it's pretty good. I mean, from a business perspective, but I say from a business perspective, but there doesn't really need to be one. If you don't need to make money, then I guess, you know, you can just throw money at these things, and wherever it goes is wherever it goes, you know. But yeah, like I said, I'd be so interested to know what you guys think. Let's have a look what's going on. How long have we been going for, man? Half an hour? Damn. Let me cook, bro. Okay. Let's look at economics then. Let's look at some economics. What we got here? Nothing too crazy. But yeah, who did you guys vote for in the general election? Who did you guys vote for? I'd be interested to know. Wasn't amazing turnout for it, considering. Wasn't a great turnout. But yeah, I'd be so interested to know where you guys voted. It would definitely interest me. Vote share. Yeah. Labour got so many seats. This next government's going to be so interesting. Because they got so many seats. If the party whip can, you know, sort themselves out and get everyone singing from the same hymn sheet, then this Labour government could be very powerful. It could be. But who knows? You know, the Conservatives got obliterated, which doesn't surprise me. 14 years. There's no justifying, you know, 14 years of being in government, and by every measure, the average person is worse off. You know, it's that bad. So there was no way they weren't going to have a huge loss, in my opinion. So Labour, you know, landslide victory. But even though they didn't, only won, increased by less than 2 percentage points to 34%. You know, 34% of the votes, and you've got such a huge majority in government. It does kind of speak to how broken our political system is in the UK. But hey ho, it's not going to change, because as long as Labour and Conservatives are in power, which it will always be one of those two, then they're not going to change it. Because if it's a two-horse race, why are they going to then start giving Reform, Lib Dems, Greens more of a chance? You know, why would they do that? But hey, let's see what Labour does. Who did you guys vote for? I imagine probably a lot of you voted Labour or Conservative. But hey, probably, you know, 14% of the vote was for Reform. You know, they've got a big population, and I understand it, because, you know, Nigel Farage, a very likeable guy, probably the UK's most popular politician. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'll stick by that. I think he probably is. You know, more people probably know They probably know Nigel Farage more than they know Rishi Sunak. I'll say that. Yeah, I'll say that. I think Nigel Farage, because he's more than just a politician. You know, Rishi is just a politician. Keir Starmer, just a politician. Nigel Farage is a media, political personality and commentator. You know, he's on these shows. He's on social media. He's doing podcasting. You know, he's definitely probably the most popular, and that's probably what helped Reform get so many votes. In addition to them putting their main focus on immigration, they think immigration really, no, I won't say the root of all evil, but if you can sort out immigration, a lot of the other problems kind of fall into line. Is their way of thinking. But to be honest, I actually voted Liberal Democrats. Yeah, I voted Liberal Democrats. And you want to know why? I'll tell you exactly. Because to be honest, it was between Lib Dems or Greens for me. And I'll tell you why. One reason only. They want to legalise weed. So the Liberal Democrats got my vote. And I felt the Liberal Democrats had more chance of winning than the Greens. And they got 72 seats, which was an insane result for the Liberal Democrats, you know. I think they've been given quite a bad rap following the 2010 coalition. But that was 14 years ago. The party's changed a lot. It was the manifesto I read and enjoyed the most. You know, I would love to work with them potentially in some capacity around their weed legalization rules, because I think a lot of people in the UK, even though I was out last night, everyone smokes. Everyone smokes. You know, even if they did like a referendum, but they didn't do like a nationwide referendum, because a nationwide referendum, I think the UK is still very old fashioned, and there'll be people in, you know, Middle England, Northern England, who just think, oh, you legalise weed, everyone's going to be smoking it, my kid's going to be smoking it, he's going to become a bum, you know, all that. But in London, if they did like area by area, like for the major cities, you had one referendum: should we make weed legal in London? Yes or no. Should we make weed legal in Birmingham? Yes or no. Should we make weed legal in Liverpool? Yes or no. Manchester? Yes or no. Newcastle? Yes or no. Sheffield? Yes or no. You know, do it for those cities, and then be like, okay, the people of this town have spoke. They don't want it legal here. Okay, so it won't be legal here. But people in London, is like 70% of them want it legal. Okay, it's going to be legal in London then. You know? Because really, if you want... And this kind of goes back to the prisons. Like I said, if you really want people to be out of prison and have a better life, then you need to stop the amount of people going to prison. And when they go to prison, they need to be able to come out and, you know, be truly reformed and not want to go back to a life of crime. It needs to be easier for them to live a life on the straight and narrow than going back to a life of crime. Yeah. Because if it's easy to go back to a life of crime, then that's what you're going to do. Of course it is. We're humans. That's our nature. But the first step to doing that, in my opinion, legalise weed, stamp out the illegal market. I mean, in theory, stamp out the mass illegal market that encourages violence, and then have a, you know, structured cannabis market that defeats the illegal market on 3 fronts: affordability, availability, and quality. If you can win on those 3 fronts, then there will be no illegal market. But if you just legalise it, and then you don't deal with any of those 3 factors, then you'll just have a illegal market. You know, you'll just have people selling weed on the streets and not getting arrested for it. Which, to be honest, wouldn't be that bad. But at least if you had a legal, regulated market, you could take off which is what the Liberal Democrats talked about. They wanted a legal market so they could take off the super strong, uncontrollable, you know, weed, the skunk that is really doing the damage. That, you know, the problem with it, people think all weed is the same, and it's not. But if people actually understood what they were voting for in a referendum like that, and to take skunk off the streets and replace it with legal weed, I actually think you'd get a lot more votes to legalise it than not. But people don't want to listen. They hear weed, oh, it's illegal, it's a drug. I don't want nothing to do with it. That's a lot of people's thinking. But game is game. Reform, 14% of the vote share, but not enough votes into seats. Shame, but I'm sure Nigel Farage is used to it. Same thing happened when he was in UKIP. But that shows that we need to reform the UK political system, but it won't happen because you've got these two in power. And they're only interested in winning, they're not interested in democracy. But hey, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, that's what I like. I like seeing all that yellow, man. Yeah, that's that Lib Dem, bro. That's that Lib Dem. I want to see that yellow. That's that Lib Dem. Yeah, man. Let's go. That's that Lib Dem. Goats, bro. They're the goats. Legalise that weed. But yeah, guys, I think... Let's have a look. I think that might be it from me. We've been going for a while. Having a good time, rocking out, chilling out. I'll go away, Hopefully make this turn this into some clips. I can be like a Sneeko or Charlie, most critical, with my guns, and be like, yeah, watch my clips. We can do that. It'd be fun. And yeah, if there's anything you guys want me to talk about next time, let me know. Because I'll look at it. We'll talk it through. I'll give my opinion. You guys let me know what you're thinking. Yeah, I think it'd be a good time. I'll see if I can get more time to do these sorts of things. I'd love to. I love just talking, going offhand like that, and it really develops my talking skills as well, which is important in life. I think you have to be able to communicate effectively if you want to do anything in life. Really, I think if you can't communicate your thoughts, your ideas, your plans, then you're as good as a fish out of water, I think. But thanks for listening, guys. It's been a blast as usual. Definitely tune in for more and keep watching my main channel for my normal content as well. Alright guys, thanks for it.